they do have some colorways of this ASICS Nunobiki on the ASICS website. They have a bunch of different colors and they're very, very affordable. This pair I'm wearing was 120 US dollars, but on the website, I think those pairs are 110 US dollars, and I think that's a great price for this shoe. Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you again. Today, I want to get into a silhouette that I never owned before. Honestly, I really never even heard of them before. KITH recently paired up with ASICS and released a whole bunch of different silhouettes. This one in particular grabbed my attention, and I can't wait to get into them with y'all. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at this KITH ASICS Nunobiki. And before we get into that pair, I wanted to give you a quick look at this pair that I have on foot. This is the ASICS Gel 1130. Not really a whole lot to it, just a mesh shoe with some suede and synthetic overlays. Very simple, very clean, very comfortable and affordable, which I really like. But anyway, let's get to the kicks you're here to see. What is happening, everybody? It is wonderful to be back here with y'all again. Like I said on the intro, I don't know anything about this silhouette. I looked up the name and where that came from and that sort of thing, but as far as the shoe goes, I really don't know anything about it. I don't have any past knowledge of it. It's not new or anything. I think it's been around since the early 2000s or so. It is a trail-inspired shoe, so most of the pairs of ASICS that I own or have owned have all been running or else just lifestyle pairs. This one I would still say is a lifestyle pair, but the traction on the outsole of it is more geared towards trails than it is towards just running or that sort of thing. I liked a couple of different pairs from this release, but this was the only one I went for. I almost went for a pair that was brown and blue, and it was on another silhouette that I'm not familiar with, but it had the ASICS A on the toe box, and I just didn't like the way that looked, so I ended up only going for this pair that we're going to look at today. I got a W on them. They were very affordable, $120, which I'll take that bargain any day. If you can find a pair of shoes around $100 and they look nice, they're comfortable, that kind of thing, then I think that's a big W. So it really appealed to me because it was a silhouette that I haven't owned before. I like the colors on it. I think it'll be good for the summertime, but also just the fact that it's so affordable, it made it worth picking up in my mind. It came in a standard ASICS GR box. It seems like every pair of ASICS that I have comes in this box, but it also seems like every time I get one of these boxes, they're beat up pretty good. This one has been bashed in. It's got a nice little tear in it up here in the lid, but I don't really care about that. I'm gonna wear the shoes, not the box. But anyhow, it's all just a cardboard color, has that ASICS A or whatever you want to call that emblem on the top. The tag reads Gel Nunobiki. The colors are Delicioso and Pure Silver. I think I'm saying that right, and the only other time that I have heard that word, I think, was on Dora the Explorer when my kids were little or something. So I just in my mind have a memory of hearing Delicioso. So I think that's what that word is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have no idea what that means aside from delicious, but I don't know what color that would be referring to on the shoes. Anyhow, I grabbed a size 10 on ASICS. I always go true to size, and it seems like it's worked out pretty well for me so far. Since I've never owned this silhouette before, I do plan on throwing them on feet just to give you a better look at them and also to talk about sizing and that sort of thing. And here it is, the KITH ASICS Nunobiki.
Mucho delicioso.
I am probably absolutely butchering the pronunciation of that word, so forgive me. I think these things are really, really nice looking. If I'm being honest, I do kind of feel like all ASICs look alike. I haven't really found any that don't look like a standard pair of ASICs to me. Like I mentioned before, I'm wearing the 1130s on foot right now. I think the only other ASIC silhouette that I have in my collection at this time, aside from this pair that I just grabbed, is the 2160, which again looks very similar to this pair that I've got in hand and the pair that I've got on feet. Whenever I saw images of these, even though they look like the same silhouettes that I already own, I really like the colors of these, and it also just grabbed my attention that this is a trail shoe. When you look at it from the top, you can't really see anything that makes it look like it's for the trail, but then whenever you look at the tread, it does have more of a beefed up tread. It kind of feels like the New Balance Endurance tread, like it's just a really hard rubber, but I'm hoping that these feel a little bit softer on feet than maybe like the New Balance 610 or a random ACG or that sort of thing. I have a feeling these might be more comfortable than what some of those other brand trail shoes are. I love the chocolate brown color that we have for the base material, which is all a very breathable mesh, and then I also really like this shade of green that we have for all the synthetic overlays. The pair of 1130s that I have on feet has a lot of suede for the overlays, but on this pair I don't think there's any genuine materials. It seems like they're all just synthetic, but I think they look great. As far as the branding goes on these, there is no way of telling that this is like a KITH collaboration or anything. Really, I think the only place that it says KITH on this entire shoe is on that insole down there. I did a little bit of research on that name Nunobiki just to try to figure out if it was like a made-up word or if it meant something. And it sounds like that is a mountain or a waterfall in Kobe, Japan. And apparently it's just a really beautiful area. There's lots of trails, lots of waterfalls, and that's where ASICS got the name for this silhouette from. When I hear Kobe, Japan, I can't help but think of that Kobe beef.
Now that's some good stuff.
But starting at the outsole, like I already said, it's just a hard black rubber. At the midfoot, it looks like that is a brown color, and it's got some ASICS branding down there. But it's a pretty standard looking outsole for a trail shoe. That brown material wraps up to the midsole area and it meets a cream colored midsole. These do have gel cushioning. This cream colored midsole just feels like a very soft foam, and it seems like it'll provide a good bit of cushioning and that sort of thing. But I also really like the way that it looks. It just has some nice lines in it that just make it a little more interesting than if it were a smooth surface, but I think it's cool looking. It looks nice with the rest of the shoe. Then as we come up to the toe box area, we can see some of these overlays that are a synthetic material. It's got a neat shiny green finish on it. I don't really know how to describe this material other than it's a green color and I really like the way that it looks. We also have that ASICS logo coming down on the side of the shoe, and that's in like a silver metallic color with brown and green stripes over top of it. Again, I just think it looks nice. We do have a little bit of ASICS branding on the overlays here on the front of the shoe, and then here towards the back it also says ASICS on those overlays. Around the base of the heel, we have a gray hard plastic, and that's just like a heel counter or a heel cup. But again, I think that gray looks nice with the green, brown, and then this metallic silver color. Base material of this upper is just a nice chocolate brown, and it seems like it's a very lightweight, breathable mesh. And again, I think that makes these perfect for the summertime. The tongue is made of that same brown mesh, and then at the top, we do have an ASICS tag. These came with brown rope style laces already in them. They have little white speckles on there. I think it looks really nice. But then they also threw in a cream colored rope style lace, and I guess that would match the midsole on these pretty well. I'll probably just keep the brown laces in it for now. Looks like we got a gray sock liner that kind of matches that hard gray plastic that we have on the heel. And then down on the insole, it's like a plaid pattern in cream and green. And we can see some ASICS and some KITH branding down on it. All right, so that was a pretty quick look at these in hand. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and throw these on simply because I've never owned this silhouette before, so I have no idea how they'll fit. I'm going to go ahead and put them on and we can get a good look at them. I'll be right back. All right, so I got them on feet and they are surprisingly comfortable for a trail style shoe. They're not quite as soft underfoot as the ASICS 1130 or the 2160, but they're definitely more comfortable than like the New Balance 610 or ACGs that I've had and that sort of thing. It's really right in between the comfort of a standard ASICS lifestyle shoe and your average trail shoe. I would just say they're not quite as comfortable as other ASICS that I have, but for a trail shoe, they are pretty comfortable. I really like the look of them. I was surprised. They have a lot more room than the other shoes that I was just wearing, so I went true to size in these, but I probably could have actually gone a half size down in this pair. I just have plenty of room. The 1130s that I have are snug on feet, as are the 2160s, but these ones definitely have a little bit more room than those other pairs that I'm familiar with. I really like the style of them whenever you're wearing them, and I think I can get plenty of wear out of these this summer. I also wanted to mention they do have some colorways of this ASICS Nunobiki on the ASICS website. They have a bunch of different colors and they're very, very affordable. This pair I'm wearing was 120 US dollars, but on the website, I think those pairs are 110 US dollars, and I think that's a great price for this shoe. Get you a little top-down POV. I love it when a collab comes along and helps to shed some light on a silhouette that maybe you weren't familiar with before. That's definitely the case with these. I never would have heard of this silhouette if it weren't for that KITH collaboration that they just did. Based off of my first impressions though, I could see this being a silhouette that I come back to. Alright, well hopefully that was enough to give you a good look at these KITH ASICS Nunobikis. I really like my first impression of these, and I think I'm going to get a good bit of wear out of these this summer. Like I said, they do fit a little bit more loose compared to other ASICS silhouettes that I have. So if you like a really snug fit, you might want to consider going down a half size. Let me know what you all think about these. I appreciate you all watching tremendously, and I will catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.